Once you install your program, it will automatically launch and give you a key. This key right here, if you could email that to us at sales@aviationsafety.com, we'll give you the matching key for that. It's based on the hard drive serial number in your computer, so it's going to be different for every computer. So the first thing you do is you would type that in when you receive that from us. All lowercase, just hit the OK button. So you successfully activated the software. You would only have to do that again if you had a second laptop you needed to put it on. The next step here is you need to put in your username and your password. And click login. Now once you do this, it's saved your login, so you don't have to do that ever again either. So the next step here is you want to select the data that you want to download for different parts of the country. Just say those are the three right here. And then you click download selected updates. This part of the process you would do every time you need to update your data. You know, for instance, the approach plates have expired and you need new approach plates as well as approaches. So you select that and it will automatically download everything you need to download. Once you've downloaded the data, the next step is you want to connect your Garmin. So you turn on your Garmin display and then you plug in the data cable. You can see right here it automatically checks all the time to let you know whether you're connected or not. Okay, so now it recognizes your connection with your Garmin and it's reading the routes that are on the Garmin right now. These are just standard routes. So that means you got 4 used and 46 still available on the Garmin. Now this is the limitation with the Garmin itself because it only holds 50 routes. So the next step here is we want to start to select some approaches. So you would type in the airport identifier. You would pick a particular runway. Then you come down here and it says send selected approach to Garmin. And as you can see, it updates when you do that. It sends basically 2 routes. One is the route here for the airport, which is the identifier, the runway, and the type of approach. And then you'll see one right underneath it with the letter M. That's your missed approach. So you would select your approach, and then when you want to pull up the missed approach, you would select the separate one. The reason we have those as 2 separate routes is it's easier for Garmin to draw it on the screen. So we go through here, and let's say we just pick a few more. Maybe you go to a different airport. And this whole time, when you pull up specific approaches, of course, you can look at the approach plate over here. Okay, so we've put in 3 separate approaches right here, and you can see them all over here. When you do hit the send button right here, you will see data transferring on the screen of your Garmin. You can also hit this refresh list button, and that's kind of useful when you originally plugged the unit in after you haven't been using it for a while, and it'll update everything on here. Now the next step is you'd want to print them. So if you hit the print button over here, you've got 3 separate approaches. You would just select here 2 per page. That way it saves a little paper, and just hit the print button and it'll print them out. You can also manually go in and add or remove approaches off of here, but almost inevitably it makes much more sense just hit the print button, because this will pull up every chart that you will need for the approaches you selected. Now let's say the approaches expire in another week from now and you come back a month later. Well, you would go over here, you would still do your update, You only need to make one setting on your Garmin to view the approaches, and that is press the menu here, then hit enter for setup map, and then across the top here you can toggle back and forth to different settings. So you want to select waypoint and go down to the waypoint and set the zoom distance by hitting enter and set it to the lowest possible, which is 20 feet. The reason we do that is if you don't do that, it's going to show every waypoint even if it's not related to the approach. Of course, the approach segments won't be attached to it, but it's a little bit distracting. So it's best to minimize that. To select an approach, press the message key twice. Then with the arrow key, go down and select the particular approach that you want. Next, hit message, and we want to activate that route. Now, it'll also give us a choice of which segment of the approach we want to enter first. So we can go down here and select something different other than the initial approach fix if we wish. Just hit enter, and we go to, and now we have selected that approach. Now we're in flight. So we go in and we select our approach, the airport identifier APA 35 right. We activate that approach. You can see all the different segments of the approach right there. In this case, we're going to select FRIP, which is the beginning of the approach. And you see plus 900. That means you need to add 10 for 9,000 feet to FRIP. Now we're on the next segment of our approach. So you can see here plus 800. That would mean at or above 8,000 feet to JDOG. We're just crossing that now, and we descend down to 7,020 to Lecht intersection. When we check our Garmin 430 on the approach, we see similar information, except the Garmin is not showing any altitude information. You go over to see it displayed here on the handheld. It lets you know this is 7,020 feet. We have to be at or above. And then it's just straight in to the airport after that. Now we're going to fly a second approach into Centennial Airport, runway 28. You can see here has us perfectly lined up with the runway. On this approach, our certified Garmin 430 shows us coming up on Fergib with the distance and the heading, as well as the ground speed. Now if you look at the portable, it's giving you all the same information, plus in addition it's telling you the altitude. You have to be at or above 6,940 feet. Of course, you're still going to want to verify it with the charts that come along with your subscription. Here out your window you can see runway 28. Take a look at the Garmin. You can see it's got us perfectly lined up with all the distance and speed information. If you have any other questions about the Approach Overlay feature for the handheld Garmin units, please do not hesitate to contact us at 866-443-3342. Or you can go to our website, which is www.aviationsafety.com. Happy flying. Just hit the print button and it'll print them out. You can also manually go in and add or remove approaches off of here, but almost inevitably it makes much more sense just to hit the print button, because this will pull up every chart that you will need for the approaches you selected. Now let's say the approaches expire in another week from now and you come back a month later. Well, you you would go over here, you would still do your update,